Hello everyone and welcome back to my opinion. In this video I'll be reviewing the second ODI played between England and India. England have won this match with 4 wickets to spare. Let's get into this review. Starting off with the playing 11s for India, KL was on board, so Ishan Kishan took his place. And in my preview video, I'd said Arshdeep Singh should play ahead of Shivam Dube. And if they are going to continue resting Arshdeep Singh, Prince Yadav should play. They did not make that change. And especially when they ended up with a score that I thought was 70 runs under par. You saw in the second innings that Shivam Dube was bowling with a keeper up. He picked up 1 wicket, but I didn't think that was going to be a method to create a match-winning outcome. And we saw that that wasn't the case. So I thought India made an error by not playing Arshdeep Singh. And for England, I've said, and I'll continue to say this, I think playing Jacob Bedell as an opener is unnecessary. You've got an opener like Wojak who's batting at number 7, and Jacob Bedell in the New Zealand series is batting at number 4. So I think this is an unnecessary change. I'll say more on that in a bit, but I don't think it's a change that is going to work out long term. We've seen these 2 matches, he's not scored many runs. But the one decision that they did to I thought they made 2 correct changes. One, Liam Dawson scored 68 runs in the previous match, but they factored the bowling combination into their thinking where they thought he only bowled 2 overs. And as I said in the preview, seam dominant conditions such as the ones we see at this venue, they correctly brought in Gus Atkinson in place of Liam Dawson. And I'd said Saqib Mahmood to be brought in place of Josh Tongue, and they did that. And when they won the toss, they chose to bowl first. They correctly chose to bowl first. Starting off for the first innings, I thought India got to a satisfactory, a good power play score, 61 for 1. Shubman Gill was looking good, and I've said in a previous video that he looks like scoring a century every innings, and I thought he was on course for a big score in this match, but he hit that delivery slightly early and the catch was taken. And Virat Kohli, I think the one positive from the start was that you saw in the previous match he was dismissed trying to flick a straight one, and I think in this case, the first boundary that he hit was an on drive. And I said in that video that there was no need to panic because I thought it was a sign of rust. We've seen that dismissal in the second ODI against Australia. And I think the moment that rust was overcome, I thought he was going to get back to doing what he did against New Zealand and South Africa. So he played a crisp innings with very good innings in this match. And Rohit Sharma, he was going well at the start. There were a few chances, but I thought he was bogged down when Sam Curran bowled a maiden, and then Wojak dismissed him, caught by the keeper. But I thought even though India went to, I think, 111 for 3 in 20 overs, in terms of the run rate, I thought it was satisfactory. And on the 3rd wicket, they sent out Ishan Kishan ahead of Shreyas, and I'm not going to criticize that because for 2 reasons. One, they may have been looking to give him another opportunity in the absence of KL, where he scored runs against Afghanistan, and KL was not available to play today, so the number 4 slot was free. And secondly, I think we should take a learning from this because I've said many times Shreyas Iyer should not bat within the first 12 overs of an ODI, and I think in this case the 2nd wicket fell after the 12th over. But we've seen the difference in the way Shreyas was comfortable in this match compared to the previous match where I thought he scored an uncomfortable 35. He could have been dismissed in the first ball, I thought, but in this case he was comfortable. He scored a very good 66. So I think we should take a learning and say after the 12th over is when we'll send out Shreyas Iyer. If he can be shielded from the seaming ball early on, you'll see more of a consistency for him and you'll be able to win more matches for you. So that's what I think they should do. Whether they do, I don't know. And they were 133 for 3 in the halfway point at a decent platform. And 177 for 3 in 30. I thought they were in a good position. A set Virat Kohli, a set Shreyas Iyer. And the one Virat Kohli was dismissed. I think it's a case where we've seen Wahidam Sundar, and I've been saying a similar thing for Nitish Kumar, where when they have been playing, have they been involved in the match that much? No, they haven't been. That's why I'm confused as to why they've been picking up injuries as often as they have been. And as I said with Nitish Kumar, I think it's based off the training in between matches, whether it's overtraining, because Wahidam Sundar doesn't bowl many overs when he plays in the ODI side or in any format that he plays for India. He doesn't know when he'll bowl, how many overs he'll bowl. And he played a good innings in the previous match, but he hasn't got much batting in the previous matches either. So there's not much of a playing workload there. So I think the one thing that it could be is the training in between matches, because there doesn't seem to be somewhat of a biomechanically strenuous bowling action for either of Nitish Kumar Reddy and Washington Sundar. So I think the training in between matches could be regulated so that such injuries don't occur. And I think it's a case where they tried to be a bit more urgent than they needed to be with 177 for 3. They could have still got 300 from there. And the commentators were saying how they should get on with it. I didn't agree with that. They should have waited until the 40-odd, maybe the 40th over, and then continued, because they were in a good position by the 30-over stage. And the thing that this shows is that you've seen Jasprit Bumrah has scored 20 runs. And that's what I'm saying, when you don't need this batting depth at number 8. When Arshdeep Singh can score some handy 15 runs, Jasprit Bumrah has scored 20 runs in this match, and that's enough, because then if you've got the bowling attack, the frontline bowlers, you can defend that score. And they played Shivam Dube at number 8, where I'm not saying this because he got out for a duck. I'm saying this because you saw in the second innings defending a score that I thought was 70 runs under par. You've got the keeper up and bowling. Yes, he picked up a wicket, but that's not going to be a match-winning contribution. And that's why I don't understand this whole concept of batting depth when you've got Bumrah who can score 20 runs and Arshdeep Singh who can also score 20 runs. What more do you need at that position? I don't think you need anything else. And the reason why they've included Shivam Dube in the ODI team, according to me, is because of the fast bowling all-rounder tag. But are you going to compare his bowling to Hardik Pandya and Nitish Kumar Reddy? I don't think so. And they're batting in the top 7. You saw in the Champions Trophy, Hardik Pandya batted at 7, Jadeja at 8, because Hardik Pandya and Shami were the 2 seamers. Then you've got spinners. So in this case, Shivam Dube, is he going to bowl 10 overs? No. And even at number 8 in an ODI, where you're comparing to batting at 4 or 5 in a T20, is he someone who you think purely off his batting gets into an ODI team at this point in time? No, and especially not at number 8. So I don't understand why they're doing that, and that is the reason why they couldn't show a better fist of things when they were defending the score, because they didn't have the frontline seamer like Arshdeep Singh. So that's a change that they should make in the next match. India lost this match because of the playing 11. And for England, they had the luxury of playing the 3 frontline seamers and the 1 all-rounder in Sam Curran. Jofra Archer bowled out by the 40th over because he had the other seamers, and Sam Curran also bowled economically. I'd said that he didn't need to play because he's not a 10 overs bowler on ODIs, but in this case, and he's also been bowling economically across the 2 series thus far, so I won't criticize that selection. So England selected correctly. And once again, Adil Rashid has not been effective throughout both these series, and given the pace dominance at this venue, they correctly left out Liam Dawson, so Will Jacks could bowl the rest of the 5 overs in the pace, so England selected correctly. And the first ball, the second innings, Bumrah picked up a wicket, and I'll say this again, Jacob Bedell opening, it does not make sense. There is no need to do it where you've got Will Jacks who's an opener batting out of position. And you saw the way Harry Brook batted today, where every shot was a risky shot. And according to me, if he's going to bat like that, there are 2 reasons, well, especially is one reason why of late I think they have chosen to send Jacob Bedell to open, is because they want Harry Brook to bat earlier. And according to me, it opens up a discussion into this phrase of taking responsibility, which I think is something which is misinterpreted, where people think taking responsibility is batting earlier. And I'll say an example of where that's not the case, where I said Shreyas Iyer should not walk out before the end of the 12th over in an ODI. And in T20, he should not walk out within the first 4 overs. So you saw in IPL 2025, he batted at number 3 as the captain. The consistency was not there because he was walking out within the first 4 overs. Then in the second half, Josh Inglis batted at 3. Shreyas Iyer batted at 4. The consistency improved. And that doesn't mean Shreyas Iyer wasn't taking responsibility. Shreyas Iyer took responsibility in his role at number 4, and that's why he succeeded. Another example is Josh Buttler. I said he should bat at 6, not at 5. And we've seen for many years he has done well at number 6. I think if he did well at number 6 as a finisher, he'd be taking responsibility as a finisher. So the same way, given Harry Brooks' approach, I think this batting lineup will be stronger if players bat in position, Wojaks to open, Jacob Bedell 4, Harry Brooks 5, so he can take responsibility given the role that he wants to play. Then you can have Josh Buttler at 6. Now in this match they played Sam Curran ahead of Josh Buttler at 5, and he batted well, but I think it would be stronger if Harry Brooks was at 5 rather than Sam Curran. So I think they should do that. Will they do that? I don't know, but I think that is the correct thing to do. And I thought the batting approach wasn't good from England. Apart from Joe Root, you saw a lot of the wickets were gifted at the wrong time. But the reason why they got the victory is because you're looking at the bowling attack that India fielded, where Jasprit Bumrah, yes, but then Prasidh Krishna can pick wickets, can go for runs. Gurnur Brad picks wickets, can go for runs. And we've seen in these two matches, in the first match, he went for runs in the first part, then didn't go for as many after that. In this match, he didn't go for as many runs in the first part, then went for runs after that. So there's at least one passage of play where he goes for runs, and that's got to be factored in when playing him because he picks wickets that can go for runs. And then Akshar Patel, a defensive spinner, where seamers are going to be the dominant bowlers at this venue. And Tarun Dubey, as I said, he's a fill-in bowler. He's not going to win a match day. So when he's got 70 runs under par, not playing, I keep saying, was the reason why India could not give a better fist of it in the second innings. So that is on that. And there's talk that the Lord's ODI could be Rohit Sharma's final ODI. And according to me, it's a case where whenever he has played, there's been an expectation for him to perform, given the rhetoric since he wants to play in the 2027 World Cup. And I think you compare Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma in terms of their current guises, and I think there's a difference in terms of image because when Rohit Sharma scores a 70, let's say, then he doesn't score many runs in the next innings. There's a fear that chimes more than for Virat Kohli because you saw, I think Virat Kohli was dismissed in the previous match because of rust. But even if he does get a lower score, there's not much of a fear because people think, okay, he works on his fitness, which he does, and there's a different image when you compare Virat Kohli to Rohit Sharma, which is the reason why there's not much of a fear that chimes. There's not as much of a fear that chimes up. But I also think that if I'm being honest here, I think that Rohit Sharma has scored a few 70s. I would have liked to see at least a couple more bigger scores there because he's got a few more opportunities where he scored, I think, 2 or 3 70s. He scored once a century in Australia. But I think he has been playing well. And I don't feel that fear that many do to say, will he be able to play in the World Cup? I think he can play in the World Cup. But when a player is under pressure every match to say you've got to score this match or your place is on the scanner, I think it was going to be a case where the moment there were a few more lower scores in spite of, let's say, a 17 here and there, then it was going to be a decision that the management may take. Do I agree with it? And I think if it's something that's made too early, I would have given him a few more matches and taken the call. And there are other players, of course, but I think that there could have been a bit more time until this decision if this is the case. And it's been fantastic for India, fantastic captain. And I think in the World Cup final, the 2 reasons why India didn't win that match is because I keep saying it, within the 12th over, the 3rd wicket fell. The 2nd wicket fell. They should have sent out KL Rahul ahead of Shreyas Iyer, and they should have played Ashwin ahead of Siraj. Those 2 things, and India win that match, but they didn't do that, and that is why so happened. So I think it's where definitely as an India fan, and given also the road that Rohit Sharma has he's chosen to take to get to the 2027 World Cup, and we've heard all these things about the transformations and all those things. I think he's done a lot to be ready for the 2027 World Cup. But if they are going to move on from him, I can say he's been a fantastic batsman, a fantastic captain for India, and hopefully he can do well in this match. So let's see what happens there. If you enjoyed the video, please share, friends. This is my opinion. Watch this.